Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing y'all how I made wormy cakes from Hotel Transylvania. Dracula gives Mavis wormy cakes on her birthday, which are essentially pancakes with live worms coming out of them. And this was a cake order I had on my cake business, and I had so much fun making it that I thought I would show y'all how I did it. So the day before, I started off making my worms, and I used 2 ounces of gum paste, which I dyed to a worm flesh color using some Wilton Ivory food coloring and some soft pink food coloring mixed together, and just sort of rolled out little worms with my hands and then used toothpicks to put the banding sort of texture that worms have. And just be careful not to like flatten the worms out. I just sort of worked side to side and rolled the worm in my hand as I went, and then set these aside to dry, sort of bending them and curving them, but then set them aside to dry overnight because they need to be completely hardened. Then I baked 2 8-inch round cakes, filled them, stacked them, frosted them, and then measured the circumference of the cake and rolled out a worm to the length of the circumference, or a snake, whatever, maybe it's a snake because it's really long, and then flattened it out with my rolling pin and started wrapping that around the bottom of my cake. And once I had it all the way around to where it met, I just trimmed off the excess and sort of blended together the 2 ends. Then I used some Wilton Ivory food coloring with some clear rum to basically paint on the sort of like cooked part of the pancake. And I just wrapped and repeated all the way up, adding a couple worms here and there as I went. And I do need to give a special shout out to Yolanda at How to Cake It. She did a pancake cake a few months ago and used this technique, and so when I got this cake order, I was like, oh, no problem, I know exactly how to do this. So I'm sort of like blowing through this. I'm going to link her video down below. If you need to see more in-depth tutorial on how to do this, I'll link that and you can go check that one out. And it's actually really simple. It's just very time consuming. Like, no joke, this probably took me like 3 hours to do this. It was crazy. So once I got all the way to the top, I rolled out one big circle that was large enough to cover the top and just put that straight on the top and painted on more of the rum and food coloring. And I get this question anytime I use alcohol on a cake. So first of all, the alcohol is going to completely evaporate. You're not going to actually be consuming alcohol when you eat this cake. But some people are still opposed, or they don't have access to the alcohol. So you can use a clear extract, and like lemon or something like that works. The only thing is it's going to flavor your fondant. And I get asked a lot too if you can use water in place of alcohol, and I don't recommend that because water can break down your fondant. And I mean, you might have some success. I just don't think it's the best way to go. It's a little bit too risky. So once I had the whole stack of pancakes done, I started poking in my worms, and they have completely dried and hardened, so you're able to kind of like jab them into the fondant and just got them in there nice and secure. And then also I painted them with that same food coloring and alcohol mixture so that they were kind of like wet and slimy looking, and they just looked even more realistic than they do with just the flat gum paste. Then I made a little square of butter with fondant and just sort of like flattened it and smoothed it out and just basically plopped that right on top of the pancake. And then I made some syrup. I made 2 different colors. I thought it would look the most natural. I used white corn syrup with a little bit of Wilton warm brown food coloring mixed in and drizzled that over the top. And then the second batch was again clear white corn syrup with Wilton chocolate brown food coloring mixed in, and just sort of drizzled that over the top, and that was it. This cake was time consuming, but it was really so much more simple to make than it actually looked, and I love how it turned out. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I love getting feedback from you guys. If you have requests for future videos, leave them in the comments below. And if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you stick around if you'll hit the subscribe button. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.